He wasn't born into applause. He wasn't born into opportunity. He was born into limitation. A quiet boy in a loud world, trapped behind a stutter that made even the simplest words feel like mountains. While other children spoke freely, he calculated every syllable, every breath, every attempt. Silence became his shield. Observation became his superpower. He watched people closely, studied their expressions, learned humor not by telling it, but by understanding it. Pain introduced him to perspective early. And though the world laughed at him, something inside him refused to laugh along. That refusal mattered, because sometimes the loudest dreams are born in the quietest struggles. He didn't yet know where life would take him, but deep inside, past the fear and past the shame, a voice, ironically, was forming. The dream that got laughed at. In a classroom filled with ordinary ambitions, he chose something extraordinary. When asked what he wanted to be, he wrote a simple sentence: "I want to be on TV." It wasn't a joke to him, but it became one to everyone else. The laughter wasn't light, it was heavy, cutting, unforgettable. Authority figures dismissed him. Classmates mocked him. Logic stood against him. But something remarkable happened that day. Instead of rewriting the dream to fit reality, he preserved it. That single decision to protect the dream rather than shrink it became the foundation of everything that followed. Encouragement didn't come from the world. It came from belief, reinforced at home, quietly but firmly. The dream didn't grow louder, it grew deeper. And sometimes depth matters more than volume. A life without direction. Dreams alone don't build direction. For years, he drifted. Jobs came and went. Effort was there, but purpose wasn't. He worked hard, but not toward anything meaningful. Like many people, he followed what was available instead of what was calling him. The result was frustration, disguised as routine. He wasn't failing dramatically. He was failing quietly. And that kind of failure is dangerous because it feels normal. On the outside, life looked stable enough. On the inside, it felt empty. He had responsibilities, expectations, and pressure, but no alignment. That misalignment created a tension that would eventually demand resolution. Because at some point, living without purpose becomes more painful than taking a risk. And that's exactly where he found himself, standing at the edge of a decision that would change everything. The leap that cost everything. The decision didn't make sense. It wasn't safe. It wasn't responsible by conventional standards. But it was necessary. He walked away from stability and stepped into uncertainty with nothing but belief. That step cost him more than money. It cost him comfort, relationships, and security. The early returns were brutal. Inconsistent income, rejection, and doubt replaced everything he left behind. The dream that once felt exciting now felt punishing. But this is the part most people misunderstand. The beginning of transformation rarely looks like success. It looks like loss. It looks like isolation. It looks like questioning your own sanity. Yet, this is also where identity is forged. Because when everything external disappears, the only thing left is who you really are. Nights inside a car struggle became survival. Survival became routine. A car turned into a home. Daily life became a series of calculated decisions. Where to sleep, how to eat, where to clean up without being noticed. There was no audience for this part, no applause. Just long nights, uncomfortable silence, and moments that tested his will to continue. The contrast was almost unbearable. By night, he made people laugh. By midnight, he faced a reality no one could see. That duality could break a person. For many, it would. But instead of collapsing under it, he adapted to it. He didn't romanticize the struggle. He endured it. And endurance, when sustained long enough, becomes transformation in motion. The moment everything could have ended. There was a night when it nearly stopped, when exhaustion, hunger, and disappointment converged into a single overwhelming question. Is this worth it? It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't public. It was deeply personal. Those are the moments that define people. Not the victories, but the private crossroads where quitting feels reasonable. He could have walked away. No one would have blamed him. In fact, most would have understood. But something held him in place. Not certainty, not confidence, just a refusal to accept defeat. Sometimes, that's all resilience is. A refusal to stop, even when stopping makes sense. That decision didn't fix everything overnight, but it kept the story going. And sometimes, continuation is the greatest victory. When opportunity finally arrives. Opportunity rarely arrives when you're ready. It arrives when you're desperate enough to recognize it. After years of struggle, a door opened. It wasn't guaranteed success, it was just a chance. But he treated it like everything depended on it, because it did. Preparation met opportunity in that moment, and the result was undeniable. Years of pain translated into presence. Years of observation translated into connection. He wasn't just performing, he was expressing everything he had lived through. And people felt it. Authenticity has a weight that technique alone cannot match. That moment didn't erase the past, it justified it. It proved that none of it was wasted. Reinvention over comfort success didn't end the journey, it complicated it. What once worked no longer guaranteed growth. He faced a new challenge: evolve or fade. Reinvention required letting go of identities that had already brought him success. That's one of the hardest things to do. Most people cling to what works. He questioned it. He expanded beyond it. He took risks again, not out of desperation this time, but out of awareness. Growth demands discomfort at every level. The willingness to start over, mentally, creatively, professionally, became his defining trait. And that trait kept him relevant in spaces where others disappeared. Reinvention isn't about changing who you are. It's about expanding what you're capable of becoming. The cost of being seen, visibility brings pressure. The higher you rise, the smaller your margin for error becomes. One mistake can overshadow years of consistency. And when that mistake happens publicly, the weight multiplies. Criticism intensifies, judgment spreads quickly. In those moments, identity is tested again, not by struggle this time, but by scrutiny. He faced that moment, and instead of deflecting or disappearing, he accepted responsibility. That choice mattered. Accountability doesn't erase mistakes, but it restores integrity. And integrity, over time, rebuilds trust. The lesson here is simple but difficult. Success doesn't protect you from failure. It amplifies it, but how you respond determines whether it defines you. The meaning behind the journey. At some point, achievement becomes secondary to meaning. The external wins, money, recognition, status, lose their ability to fulfill. What remains is impact. Purpose shifts from personal gain to collective contribution. He began to share not just success, but the process behind it, the failures, the fears, the sacrifices. Because real inspiration doesn't come from perfection. It comes from honesty. He understood that his story wasn't just his anymore. It became a reference point for others navigating their own struggles. That shift, from performer to messenger, gave his journey a deeper significance. And in that, he found something more valuable than success: fulfillment. The question that remains. At the end of it all, the story isn't just about him. It's about what it reflects back to you. Everyone has a version of the struggle. Everyone has something that feels like a limitation, a fear, a doubt, a moment that tests belief. The real question isn't whether the path is hard, it is. The real question is whether you are willing to continue anyway. Because the distance between where you are and where you want to be is rarely talent. It's endurance. It's belief. It's the willingness to take the step even when the outcome is unclear. The stage is always there. The opportunity exists. The only thing left is the decision to step forward.